This is the Off the Break Podcast, your podcast dedicated to current movie theater news, operations, and insights from the people that book the movies. Now, here are your hosts, Cody, Kyle, and Ken.
And we're back at Off the Break Podcast, your new video podcast.
Video-wise.
Featured on YouTube.
We did this once already, but last time you were in a gold tiger tracksuit.
And drinking too much beer. And
Too much?
I was a little nervous. I'm not going to lie.
Got
Perfect.
the jitters. It's different on video than it is with audio. You want to think, but...
It's shockingly, it feels like the camera and the tripod are another person in the room. And you keep looking over and you're like, nope,
and they're
that's
just judging you.
Yeah, it's silent judgment coming from that side of the room.
With no facial expressions, because it's an inanimate object.
Why do I not feel any judgment at all right now?
Why indeed?
I feel wonderful.
Well, we had so much fun last time, and we're toning it down, being a bit more professional this week, keeping it hopefully short and sweet, but we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, knowing us.
Yeah.
Well, we had another monster weekend
Oh
in
my
the
gosh.
summer.
Yes. And you know, last week I said how I was hoping the Top Gun dropped more. It didn't, and it's caused some issues. I did have to cancel a couple light years in some spots,
Ouch.
mostly twins. So that was not fun, but luckily Disney was super gracious and worked with me to bring it in. So it's just really, really hard coming off such monster grosses where I thought for sure Jurassic World Dominion would have just sucked the life in these smaller locations. I thought in the bigger complexes you weren't going to see much impact.
Sure.
No, there was like zero impact in these small locations. It was shocking. I don't know, even in the good times, the pre-pandemic times, if I had seen that. Usually a new film always sucked the gross and the life out of the one that was being held over.
In some of our larger locations, 12, 14, 16 screen locations, Top Gun's going to play until Labor Day.
Yeah.
Which is crazy to think.
By the looks of things.
And in the medium-sized ones, definitely to the 4th of July.
Easily through the 4th.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Don't you hate it when movies do well?
Oh, it's awful.
It's crazy.
Here at Off the Break Podcast, where we celebrate movie theaters and movies, we hate it when that happens.
No, we're so excited.
We're here to give you film updates every week, and every week it's like, so Top Gun, huh?
Yeah. No,
Remember that one?
It's weird. It's like everybody talks about how the pandemic fundamentally shifted theater going, with theaters completely shut down, with the rapid rise in streaming, all of that. But I think in a weird way, it's brought it back to a more old school movie going where people went to the movies because there was one or two movies that they really wanted to see, and they kept going back to those one or two movies. Like I didn't think we'd ever see the time where movies would play 2 or 3 months, let alone 8 months, like some of the really big releases in the 80s and 90s did.
Calm down. Nothing's going to play 8 months.
No, I'm saying I was saying 2 or 3, let alone like that. I'm not saying that these ones do it, but they are playing longer than
Top Gun's done well.
They're
Don't get me
playing
wrong.
longer than the 4 or 5 weeks that we used to get out of them pre-pandemic.
I know. This is the beginning of week 4 for Top Gun. Mm-hmm. This is where the money is made, that they always said. Like, this is when the legs start and a film goes. And that's what we hope to see. But, the same audience that got excited about Top Gun is going to want to see Thor.
Oh,
there's
for
an
sure.
end. There's an end here. Top Gun's going to play 7:00 every night from here until
Thor comes out.
It's just really nice to see something that is not dropping a lot, that is getting such positive word of mouth, that people are seeing repeat viewings of. We haven't had actual really repeat viewings in so long. This is awesome to be seen. And I feel like that is a glimpse of the past magic that people used to talk about. Oh, the magic of theaters. Well, that was the magic of theaters. That was that repeat viewing, that ability for a film to touch you in a way that you needed to go back again and experience. Like, we just haven't had that. It's always been such a quick one and done scenario, or maybe 2 and done. But this one's lasting. I'm excited for that.
Both times I've seen this movie, I've been feeling that sort of magic. It's been kind of hard to be fully invested in a movie when it doesn't feel like audiences really want to be there. You know what I mean? Like they either enjoy the movie or they don't, but they don't quite have those magical reactionary type moments to where it's like authentic rather than like either forced or just no one wants to participate in it. But Top Gun really has been doing that, and it's that old school type of feeling that you're kind of expressing. So it's been really cool to witness that.
Yeah, I haven't been touched at the movies since high school, but that's a different story for a different podcast.
I knew you were going to say something because I said that. I was thinking in my brain,
Bravo.
like, what is he
How
going to
could
say?
I?
Is he going to ignore this? I misspoke.
I think it was
Is he gonna
Legally
nail me with
Blonde
this?
2, I think was the movie.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
Fantastic to end that conversation on.
Well, I will just say though, as
It
far
was,
as how
lazy Tuesday afternoon.
as far as how the box office performed, yes, like Top Gun didn't drop very much. It really held on, very successful and steady. Jurassic World opened bigger than anything I think people were anticipating, especially going into Friday. And you had the industry re-examining projections going into Saturday because surprisingly Jurassic World had a lot of walk-up business, which
The Thursday pre-show or early show gross was bigger than expected.
Yep.
The Fridays on Saturday morning was bigger than expected.
Yeah.
The Saturdays on Sunday morning were bigger than expected.
Wow.
and they were crediting like walk-up business that people were just kind of, wanting to go and do something and rediscovering the theater again. So that was really, really exciting to see, and immense grosses. But what I did notice was that while those two films were awesome, they grossed well, they got people in the theater, buying concessions, enjoying the films, it really sucked the life out of everything else we were playing. Like the grosses for everything else just dropped like a rock. And I think that is maybe hinting at the fundamental change in how moviegoing is that people are going to the movies, but they're really only seeing something new, and maybe one or two titles are really hitting the mark now. And I don't know if that's going to continue through the summer, but I can see that happening. I can see Lightyear finally killing off Scene 2, and where they're holding on, or not Scene 2, but Bad Guys. Yeah, sorry. Bad Guys, where it's still holding on. And then Minions coming up and killing Lightyear, So I at the one time, while I'm excited that we might have the possibility of legs because we're having repeat viewings with Top Gun, I'm not under any illusion that, that it is always dependent on the film, that it is always product driven, that just because Top Gun's getting repeat viewings doesn't mean these other future films are going to be treated in the same manner. And if that's the case, and we don't have this people coming back and these strong grosses holding up, and we are, as one industry person put it, a market of a single film a weekend, we're going to have holes. We're going to have big holes in some of these. I mean, I'm not even talking about the 14 screen complexes. I'm just talking about like 8s.
Yeah.
I mean, we're going to have some issues, especially in August. And I've been talking a lot with Ken and other people, other bookers and stuff, and just what does this mean? Like when I talk to an exhibitor, I've heard the one-off comment like, oh, it might be better to be closed or have the screen down than it is to play Downton Abbey doing $100.
Right.
Like, so what is that breakover point? And is that going to be a new normal? Like, is an exhibitor going to have to look at this and say, hey, my operation cost to operate this screen for this day, for this many shows, might not be there because because it's so expensive to run it. If you just take it on a by auditorium basis, all the lighting, the labor, and all the energy costs, like all the costs that go into having that auditorium, whether it's heating, air conditioning, energy for the projectors and for the lighting, staff to make sure it's cleaned and all that all has a fixed cost. And so there's a fixed cost for doing business in that auditorium. And when you add those costs to all the auditoriums together, it starts to get really expensive. And if you're not making the gross, if you're not getting the people in, and you're not making the return on the investment of the seat, does it make sense to have that screen dark? And is that how much does variety in the number of titles you have in a complex matter anymore? And those are some kind of questions that we got to start exploring probably in the next few podcasts as we kind of feel this out. But I really think that we're running into if this holds up, if what happened this last weekend where audiences just went and saw Top Gun and just went and saw Jurassic World and pretty much didn't see anything else.
That's what I was looking at the numbers again. It was a $212 million weekend for the top 10. $198 million of those dollars went to 2 films.
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, it was.
I mean, number 3 was Doctor Strange with less than $5 million for the weekend.
Right. And I just saw where Doctor Strange finally crossed the 400 million mark, but most of that was made in the first 2 weeks. Like,
yeah, it was really front loaded, Cody. Don't
super
you think it was
front.
front loaded?
I thought it was. It was. Don't throw that back in my face. It was front loaded, just like Jurassic World's probably gonna be front loaded, but we'll see how
so
that
was
holds
the
up.
trailer on a semi truck because you load the front first. Literally everything is front loaded.
Anyways, moving on from the front loading. Yeah, it just, if that's the case, does it even make sense? Obviously, we want to find alternatives. You know, it might not make sense to hold product as long as we are just to have it. But I was really thinking about, why am I doing this? Why am I holding something? And for a lot of the answer is because I want variety in my titles. Well, maybe somebody will come and go to it. Well, obviously they're not. Like, if you go by the numbers, they're not coming and going to it. And I think that Doctor Strange gross only did as well as it did because it was spillover. It was spillover because Jurassic and Top Gun were sold out. What's the next best film? Doctor Strange. Because you're not going to go to Bad Guys. You're not going to go to a kids movie if you're there looking for Top Gun and Jurassic.
And we're looking at this moving forward too. Next week we have 2, regular wide release films with Elvis and Black Phone. But if you think Lightyear is going to be huge and Jurassic's going to stay up there and Maverick's going to hang around, do you even open these films? Do you give away screen space from something that's going to be X amount of dollars already that's guaranteed?
Right.
And even further down the list, like we have, is it Roadside's Mr. Malcolm?
Yep.
On July 1st?
Bleecker Street.
Bleecker Street. Yeah.
It's Bleecker Street.
Yeah. We have that on July 1st. And normally, if you can get something like that in, again, it's good variety. It's something else that you bring in.
Because you think you want to appeal to all audiences, all demographics. You're trying to get everybody in.
But it's a Minions screen eater.
Yeah.
And Minions is going to be one of the biggest movies of all time.
It's going to be massive.
It's going to fall in the top 20.
Yeah. So yeah, it's really rethinking what the purpose of the theater is, what the purpose of the entertainment is, what the customer really wants. Like, when somebody comes in, are they looking for? I just don't think anybody coming to the theater anymore goes, I don't know what to watch. What do they got? Nobody. I just don't believe that people do that anymore. That people, what I feel like what they do is they get on their phone, they look. And then there in that moment, they might say, oh, look at what they've got playing. But they're probably looking to see if the latest film is that they want to see is
when
there.
When is this newest movie that I've heard about playing?
Yeah, because I think that a lot of, if a film doesn't spark and doesn't have that huge marketing and doesn't have the newness push, it gets lost in the white noise of between all of the films in the exhibition industry and all the films on streaming, because people are getting marketed to on those streaming films just like their regular movies. So in the consumer's mind, they're all movies all together, all jumbled up, and they're just looking to see, is it playing at a movie theater, or is it what streaming service,
or what showtime is best for me?
Yeah, they're not. I don't think anymore. They're going. They're saying, this is what's on Netflix. And then they go, this is what's on my phone.
I have a dinner reservation at 6. What movie starts at 7:30?
Yeah.
Right.
And it's like, no, how soon after dinner can I get to see the new this?
Yeah.
The new this?
And if that's the case, and we may be seeing that change in behavior by only the first few films being such top grossers, sucking all of the money out of the box and leaving the other guys with nothing, why even have them? Why have them, and why show that screen and operate that theater at that fixed cost if you're not going to get a return on your investment? And is it really bad to have dark screens? Is it terrible? Is it so terrible to have 8 screens and play 3 films? And maybe have two or three, I wouldn't know that the screen is dark going in. Like, I don't care what's in the other auditoriums. I only care about what's playing in my auditorium that I'm heading to in that moment. I was
exploring this with a multiplex owner earlier in the week, talking about every one of his 12 screens starts a film between 6:30 and 7:30 at night. That's not always feasible because it's so many people coming into the theater.
Right.
But he's stopped caring. He doesn't have a choice.
Yep.
Everyone's shifts overlap. People are off at 7:30 at night for employees because he has all these shows going on, because that's when people are available and have time to see a movie.
Yep.
And that's when they start, and they're over by 9.
Yeah. and then they're in and out, and they're it. It would be nice to have a little bit of variety. I feel bad for the exhibitor because you want variety and space in your showtimes so that you don't crowd your lobby and your concessions, so that somebody doesn't look at it, see that there's a mass chaos, a jumble of people, and say, no, not today. I'm not going to get my M&Ms.
Yeah.
Not today, concession stand. You're not getting me, because they don't want to deal with the crowd. So crowd control is a major issue. But if you had 8 screens and you were only playing 3 films, the 3 films that people really want to see, like maybe like next week it would be, like it would be a Top Gun holdover, it'd be a Jurassic holdover, a Lightyear holdover, probably lose Doctor Strange by then,
and Elvis.
And Elvis, maybe not even play Black Phone, but at an 8 you're probably playing Black Phone. But those are your films, and you look at that and you're like, well, I've got now a couple empty screens here because I'm not holding over Doctor Strange doing nothing or Downton Abbey or Bad Guys or anything. So why don't I shift the show times, get people in, get them seated with concessions, start a show very close, but enough time that the concession stand emptied, get that group in, and then I'm done for the night. Maybe I don't do 9 o'clock shows. Maybe I don't do later. Maybe I just go and stack, like you said, if everybody's off at 7, I have a 7, a 7:15, a 7:30, and then that crowd control makes the concession area so much more attractive. It enables the concession area to be visible and to get people to guilt buy so much more easily.
Oh, especially if they know I've got to wait in line for 5 minutes, so I'm going to buy everything I need for the entire movie.
You want to wait in the line long enough that they like peruse the offerings.
Yeah.
Like they're like, those.
You don't want to have a line that looks like
Skittles
It's a
are
Small
looking
World
really
at
good.
Disneyland.
Yeah.
But you want to have enough of a line that's like, okay, I'm not going to get food poisoning.
Right.
Like that restaurant that's empty on a Saturday night when you walk in, you're like,
uh-oh. There's something wrong here. Like warning signs. Yeah. So, man, there's just such a change in nuance. And these are part of the conversations I'm having daily about, okay, I've booked you this. Let's talk about how we're actually going to show it. How many screens do you have? And we're starting to have frank conversations now about, let's not hold that $200 gross. Let's get out of that and let's see what we can do. Is there an alternative? Maybe a UFC fight or something is an alternative. Is there something in the community that you could rent out? Maybe it's a corporate buyout for a corporate retreat and you license something privately for them. It's just really starting to look at it and have the ability of your managers or you yourself execute on filling these screens with something other than movies. That might be an alternative. And
rethinking what your opening screen count is.
Oh,
which has been so
sure.
crazy, because if you have a 10 screen complex, the most screens you've ever had on a movie ever would be 5, would be a crazy number.
Half your complex.
Your complex for an Avengers, for a Star Wars, for something would have been crazy. And now it's not out of the realm of possibility to open Thor on 7 screens.
Right. Well,
just for showtimes.
Take Thor. Is Black Phone and Elvis gonna hold up into Thor? Maybe. So there's 2 screens there, but they're the third weeks, and if they don't pop, you don't know if you're gonna hold it for a third week.
And Minions has 2, and then you can put matinees on Thor.
Yeah.
But I mean, you're looking at where 50% was a crazy number before,
Right.
that could be the
So
starting
now,
point.
So
for
we're
a lot
now
of these
2 or
films.
3 Minion screens so that you get plenty, because you want screens available for daycares, camps, all the people coming in. So Minions will be a huge like matinee early hour business. So you do multiples of those. You're gonna do start at 5 screens with Thor. We're in a 10plex. We start at 5. We have 2 or 3 Minions. Now I'm at 8. I on all the screens, and some of those Minions I could actually add more Thors. So now I'm at 5.5 Thors to open, granted. And then you might have Black Phone and Elvis. 4 films in a 10plex. Like, this is,
Which
it rubs exhibitors the wrong way, because they're like, no, I need more. I can't have just 4 films. But if those are the 4 films everybody's going to, why are we holding anything else? Why are we holding Lightyear?
When no one's going to show up
if
for
nobody's
the
going to
others.
show up.
And the standard pre-pandemic for 10 screens was like 12 films.
Yeah.
Because you have one showing of 3 films on one screen and 3 holdover films on another screen. And then you'd have one new film here, one new film here, and you'd have, 12 was a pretty solid number. You'd always have more than 10 on screen.
But I just find that people are splitting up their schedules so much that they are not offering enough of the showtimes that people actually want to go see, and confusing the showtimes of trying to catch the other people. But the reality is nobody's going. Nobody's really going down the road. They're not going to 4 weeks out discover Downton Abbey and be like, I need to see. And if it's one person that does that $8 is not worth the cost it took you to run and lose that screen for that film.
Majority of people know by now. The decision was already made.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, but it's hard. I am talking to exhibitors that have been in the business for 30 years.
Oh, yeah.
It is a hard conversation to have, to say, can we find something else? Can the screen, are you better served with a dark screen?
No, the great thing about Top Gun doing so well is they're falling into those habits of the late 80s and 90s where there's no question in their mind that they can hold this longer.
Yeah.
Which is hilarious. Everybody's like, oh yeah, I'm getting stories now every day about, oh, I remember when E.T. came out. I remember when Home Alone came out, and we played it for an entire summer.
Yeah.
It's like,
it's really fun, though, to hear it. It's a change. So on the one hand, we've got that situation where we're holding Top Gun so long, and it is the opposite of what I just said. People are still going.
Yeah.
But then on the other, you've got these other films that, they just are dying off so quickly. And I'll tell you, this is not going to help the windowing cause in the future. Not that you can make people go to these films, but it's just giving the studios ammunition to say a window is 3 weeks. Exclusive window in the cinema is 3 weeks. And we're really pushing longer than that. We would like 5 to 6, 8 weeks would be, ideal. Enough time that people don't get in the habit of immediately seeing the streaming. But I think the reality is that they're not, if they really want to see a film that bad, they're not going to wait for it on streaming. Like, you're not those people that say, oh, I'll just wait for it on streaming. They're not going. They're not really going to the theater, and and if they do go, they're probably not buying concessions. They're probably not making the evening out of it. They're not who you should be marketing
Get in
to.
and then get out.
Yeah. The theater is both stuck in the community and an anchor for a community, and at the same time can't appeal to everybody in the community.
Yeah.
And that's a hard thing to
business.
balance. Yeah. You being so central, such a hub of the community, and yet in reality, you can't play things for seniors if seniors only show up on a discount day and don't buy concessions. And you can't appeal to, the rated R art house crowd if they're only coming inconsistently on certain films, and again, not buying enough concession to sustain you. Mm-hmm. So while everybody gets super upset about the superhero movies, they're the ones that people are showing up for, and they're the ones that people are buying concessions when they show up for. You're getting a certain type of customer, and that's the customer sustaining the theater. So
yeah,
that's a hard reality about, we'd like variety, we'd like all these things, but there is a fixed cost to show that movie, and if you're not going to make a return on your investment, you either need to go find alternative revenue sources to support that. I'm not saying you can't support that kind of movie going. You can't support senior films or independent films, but you better be having the revenue to make up for it, because they themselves may not support you in your area by themselves.
And
Right.
how many Downton Abbeys are there? How many Everything Everywheres are there?
Right.
These
There should be more.
there in the multiverse there are an infinite
In
number
the, not
of
in this
Everything
one.
Everywhere.
Yeah.
But there's only so many of these movies, and the ones that pop, the ones that work, only work for a certain amount of time.
Yeah.
You can't hold on to these things for so long because we do have the new world of streaming.
Yeah, you do have competition. The competition is not the theater down the street anymore. The competition is the media in the consumer's living room.
It's in your hand now. It's your
Yeah.
iPhone. You're literally competing with a device that can download anything, anywhere, at any time. Mm-hmm. I mean, literally, if you're standing in the woods with your cell phone and you have a signal, but you don't have a flashlight, you have a flashlight.
Yeah.
Because you can download a flashlight. You don't have a compass. You can download a compass.
The phones come with flashlights now. You don't even have to download it.
Shut up, Kyle. Anyway, I realized we got so excited about how well everything was doing.
Right.
We skipped the release calendar changes, which is how we always start these episodes.
Oh yeah.
We got so pumped.
We went into booking strategies so quickly. And
Start off with the good, right?
Yeah.
Let's try it differently.
and the dark theater concept. We will be exploring this more in our podcast, like the good,
Yeah,
the
of
bad,
course.
the ugly of
Moving
it all.
forward, right?
Yeah.
In different episodes. I'm done with the dark theaters today. I'm excited.
Yeah.
We have literally Lightyear coming to us this weekend.
I will say though, I'm super excited about Lightyear. I think this is going to be a wonderful Pixar film. I'm already hearing backlash about people. There is a undercurrent of criticism to this film that is unwarranted because they've not seen it. But there is some backlash because of a kiss in the movie, and I do think that this hasn't gone away, this criticism that it's not Tim Allen as the voice.
No Tim Allen. Boom, 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 boom,
It's
boom.
just shocking. I'm still hearing about complaints that
Oh, did they replace Indiana Jones, Cody? Or they put a really old ass Harrison Ford on screen?
they put a really
Oh,
old
okay.
Harrison Ford on screen.
And it's not even Tim Allen on screen, it's just his voice.
Yeah.
Oh, so confusing. How would anybody know?
I
Yeah.
just would like to point out that Patrick Warburton was the voice of Buzz Lightyear in an animated show. So I don't know where this complaint is coming from because it's already happened already.
It's become just this narrative out there that,
Yeah.
and it's feeding on itself, just like some QAnon conspiracy theory that it's just like that. It's become the narrative. Well, Hollywood is silencing certain voices because they didn't have Tim Allen be the guy.
So that's why they replaced him with another white guy.
Yeah.
Calm down, CNN, sponsored by Antifa.
Gosh.
Okay.
I mean, it's just, it's so frustrating.
It is.
And as an exhibitor, you're like, it's still a really good movie. It's still kids and family friendly. It's still from the Disney company. It's
Yeah.
not like this is going to be awful or propaganda here.
I bet
Like,
you that kiss is also quick. You won't.
Oh,
it'll
I don't
be
even
for a
think there
sec.
probably really is a kiss. You don't know.
Impossibly quick.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
probably just like what happened.
progressive, but not too quickly.
Yeah.
Can I go to my
Or
most
not too
controversial take
much.
of the week?
Sure.
Sure.
They released a new Bros trailer today, and I want to see the movie now.
Yes.
I have blocked the first one out of my mind.
I know.
This new trailer is the trailer.
I was listening to you watch it, and you're like, "This is so good." And then I was listening to Kyle watch it, and he was giggling under his breath.
Yeah.
And I was like, "Kyle, what's so funny?" And he's like, "It's this Bros trailer." And
It's
I'm like, "Universal, why didn't you just go with this trailer
It's-
first? You
it's-
traumatized a
I think
whole
they
room of
learned.
exhibitors."
Well,
think
it's
they
too
learned.
late.
It's too late now.
It's too late,
You
yeah.
traumatized them. You've already gone out and overstepped the bounds. You've crossed the line with them, and now they are afraid of your film.
Yeah, this was.
Yeah.
It looks like a Judd Apatow gay romantic comedy.
Mm-hmm.
It looks very well written and very well. I mean, there's nothing about it that tells you that this is gonna cross a line.
That's gonna
No.
be super raunchy.
Yeah,
But that would be fine to trick, like, no offense, exhibitors, but it would
But
be
it's-
fine to trick exhibitors.
it's
But with
gonna be-
audiences,
No,
I think
it's-
the surprise would be worth it.
no,
Yes.
it's going to be rated R.
Right.
You know what you're gonna see when you walk into the movie. You know it's gonna be rated R.
Yeah.
So if you have to go into a rated R gay romantic comedy, well, I guess there's gonna be some dudes kissing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're prepared for that walking in.
And for the people that walk in blind, well, if they walked in blind, that's on them. Watch a trailer.
Yeah.
Those type of people.
But not
what do
the
you mean
first
it's an
trailer.
R-rated movie?
Not the first
Did you
trailer.
did you watch the new one, Cody?
I haven't seen it yet.
Are you
no.
kidding me? I just
You
want to make
would
you
like
watch
it. You would like it.
I liked the first trailer up into that one part where I was like, oh no, this is gonna upset so many people. But I thought the first trailer was super funny. Like this looks
is.
like a
Yes.
really funny movie.
The first trailer, I was so distracted by everything going on that
Yeah.
you missed out on some of the humor. This
You guys
Neutral.
also saw it at CinemaCon, so you were surrounded by, exhibitors, and you were thinking in that mindset
It was-
too. So
Not the best place
situation
to,
yeah.
yeah.
That wasn't the
You're
correct
being
trailer to
judged by your peers in the crowd by your reactions to that, and that's not the fun place to be at in a position of.
Yeah, for
But-
sure.
okay. The other hot take I have:
Yes.
Ryan Gosling is the hot version of Ryan Gosling again.
He's made a full
Interesting.
circle.
He has.
He's back.
He had like face
Did he
tattoos, and then
Yeah.
he had a weird suntan, and
He was always gloomy in every movie he was
Yeah.
in.
he
Yeah.
was always he did that one movie with Steve Carell where he's like, I'm the shirtless handsome guy.
Oh yeah.
Oh, crazy! What was it? Crazy Stupid Love?
Yeah.
Was it that
Yeah.
one? Yeah.
He did that, but then he was like, I'm an actor. He thought he
Right.
was Bradley Cooper. Turns out he's Ryan Gosling.
Yeah.
He can do both.
He can do both.
He can do
He needs a
both.
paycheck, maybe.
This stupid picture. We're gonna have to use this as the front of the podcast.
If people haven't seen the picture, I think it's Warner Bros. They released a picture of Ryan Gosling. I think he's supposed to play
the-
Ken
in
in
the
the new
Barbie.
Barbie movie.
It
Yeah.
looks like he's chiseled
Barbie
out of
movie.
marble.
It does. It's
When they-
ridiculous. It's glorious.
When they announced the Barbie
I
movie,
never felt
it was
more inadequate in my entire life.
when they announced the Barbie movie, it was immediately followed with "I'm a Barbie Girl" in a Barbie World song is not part of the movie. Like that was everybody's first reaction. Like, are they gonna have the song in the movie?
It'll be in the
No.
credits.
They have to have that song in the
It'll
movie.
be in the credits.
If
There's
I
no
was that
way.
terrible, shitty one-hit wonder band, I
Yeah.
would hold off until the very end of post-production before I
Start
signed off on
suing.
that number. Before I gave away that.
Hey, make your money
Yeah.
Yeah.
any way necessary. The picture is just funny and hilarious.
Is he supposed to look plasticky? Like,
Yeah.
They were like one of those
Is it
Chumbawamba
like-
bands that plays their
is it-
song
is he
at the
super
beginning,
waxed?
in the middle, and then
Okay,
at the
I'm
end
getting
of
back
the
to the
concert.
picture because I haven't seen
Nope,
it.
one-hit wonders.
Is he super waxed? Like
I mean, I don't know.
glistening?
I have no idea. I have no idea what this movie is gonna be.
No, I'm asking you about the picture.
Yeah, I know. I have no idea. I have no clue if it's supposed to be like dolls coming to life or if it's like literally a Barbie world.
This is the image. Careful.
Why is he so bleached, blonde hair?
Because
Is
Ken
that-
is bleached,
Is that
right?
supposed to make him look?
I don't know.
Yeah, all the
He
Kens
literally looks like a doll.
all Kens are blonde.
Huh?
We're all that handsome, and our stomachs all look like that.
I am distracted by the chiseledness of the physique. But,
Same.
But as I start absorbing the other components, it's a lot of Canadian tuxedo action going on, jean on jean on jeans.
Mm-hmm.
There's so much pink in this.
Is there a problem, eh?
He is so bleached, and it's an older version of Ryan Gosling, so
He's
it's
a
really
doll.
throwing me off because it looks like it looks like Ken's dad is a doll. Like this is Daddy Ken version. This is not young Ken.
And this took the turn.
Yeah, no, there's a lot going on here when I have the same name. Kyle's like, your dad?
I
That's
don't
weird.
like this.
Can we stop
I was
this?
not
Kyle
trying to
says-
be inappropriate
No.
or create something, but I don't know. I don't know about that picture now. Now I'm not as excited. It's kind of creeping me out.
Maybe that's the point, though. I don't know.
Is it supposed to be the point?
I don't know. I have no idea what this movie's gonna be.
I don't know how I feel about it.
It's just wild. Like from the sounds I've heard about this movie, they're like so many of the actors. There's like a bunch of good actors in it, and they're coming out and being like, "This, no one's gonna see this movie coming." Like you just, and I'm like, "What is this movie gonna be?" Like it's so
Same thing.
weird.
It's the same thing as Transformers. There's just so much money.
Yeah,
They're gonna we're gonna make 19 of these.
I'm glad we brought that up, though. That needed to be brought to everyone's attention. So go find the photo.
Kyle will post the photo as part of the podcast, so
We can-
everybody
yeah,
can
let's do
see
that
what
too.
what I just witnessed. We all saw. Okay, what do you have any other hot takes?
God no, I'm ready to get out of here.
Well, we got to go over the release schedule changes. We kind of did this podcast backwards today, but that's okay. All
Let's
right.
switch it up.
So real quick, the film Distant from Universal moved back from September of this year to January of 2022. 3. So
So Distant got
So it went from
more
terrible
distant?
September to Dumping Ground January. So I'm thinking, there might be some issues with this movie.
Nothing to see here.
Yeah.
Carry on.
Are You There, God? It's Me, Margaret is now got pushed back to April of next year.
Yep.
And that's Lionsgate moving that one.
Supposed to have released in September.
Yeah, I'm a little concerned about Lionsgate. They haven't had a title in a while.
Since February.
Yeah, I think this was maybe going to be their next one. And
I guess so. I don't remember what else they have.
yeah.
So it got pushed to like the week before a giant Marvel release.
Yeah. Well,
Sure.
that one I think is ripe for being moved again or sold to streaming. I would not be surprised if doesn't get sold. Jesus Revolution, it wasn't set.
Jesus Revolution.
Ah,
Okay.
French.
Is
Oui,
now
oui.
If you want to know how I feel about the French, listen to last week's episode.
is now been reset in February of 2023.
I mean, Lionsgate usually has
Yeah.
faith-based movies around that time anyway, so not too surprising.
Bed Rest from STX is now unset. It was a July 15th, but that's not surprising. We had like no information on that.
They've been very quiet
They have.
lately.
I don't know.
Meaning quiet, meaning that every person I've worked with at STX is no longer at STX.
Yes. So
Yeah.
I don't think that they are lawn for the distribution
They're-
realm anymore.
They don't exist.
Yeah.
The website still has national champions on the front page last time I checked, which came out in early December. So
To 4 theaters.
yeah.
No, I'm really excited. There is actually Crunchyroll is coming out with another Dragon Ball movie. This is Dragon Ball Superhero. So that's coming out August, which we desperately need an August title, and this one is going to be fantastic. So I was happy Crunchyroll came through with a good
Those
August
Crunchy
title.
rollers know what they're doing too.
Yeah.
Shout out
These.
to our Crunchy Rollers.
And that was it for the release schedule changes.
Okay, that wasn't too painful.
No.
Okay,
It
now
was-
let's
it was
get
all
into
right.
the booking strategies. Oh wait.
Oh, wait.
Let's talk about no.
So how do
Yeah.
we end these? What are we gonna do here?
Yeah. Well, I think everybody should have a good weekend. And we're out.
And we're out. Yes, and if you haven't already, please subscribe to our new YouTube channel at
Yes.
Off the Break Podcast. And also leave comments. Let us know what you think about the show.
Right.
Give us feedback. We'd
Please-
love to hear from you guys.
Please be gentle with the feedback. We're vulnerable because
Yeah.
this is
we
new
don't
to
know
us.
what we're doing.
I mean, I will take constructive criticism as long as it's gentle.
Exactly.
Kyle, you really need to do some sit-ups or something. It's getting it's a little uncomfortable watching
I
you
mean,
on
if
screen.
the picture of Ryan Gosling will be right next to me, and you'll guys see just how terrible I look.
Oh.
And-
You don't want me to print it off and
Like-
put it for motivation above your desk? Like, come on, this is what we've got to achieve.
This is
I look
this
like
is the peak
Ben
of what
Affleck.
an employee should look like.
I look
Yeah.
like Ben Affleck
I
ate
think
Ryan
that-
Gosling. All right, on that note.
And I'm such a lucky woman. Have a good weekend, everyone.
Bye, everyone.
everybody.
Thank you for listening to Off the Break Podcast. Find us on all podcast platforms or at screeninsider.co. And be sure to like and follow our Facebook and Instagram pages at Off the Break Podcast.